When you're thinking about turning a regular living room into a home theater, the biggest fear is ending up with a massive screen that still feels like a TV you have to stare at from a distance, or a projector that needs a dedicated room and a mountain of cables just to work. That hesitation is exactly what made me dig into the ultra-short-throw projector market before I even looked at the LG CineBeam HF85LA. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to walk through what it actually feels like to set this thing up, what the day-to-day experience is, and whether the price point really matches the value you get. First off, the idea of an ultra-short-throw (UST) projector is simple. You place the unit just a few inches from the wall and it throws a 100-inch plus image without the need for a ceiling mount or a long distance to the screen. For most apartments or homes without a dedicated media room, that promise alone can feel like a game changer. The LG CineBeam does exactly that. It sits on a low table or a dedicated cabinet and fills the wall with a 1080p image that looks sharp enough for most streaming services. The laser light source means you won't see the warm-up time you get with traditional lamps, and the manufacturer claims up to 20,000 hours of life, which translates to years of use without worrying about a replacement bulb. Now, the practical side of the setup is where the rubber meets the road. You unpack the projector, place it on a sturdy flat surface about 46 inches from the wall, and the built-in keystone correction does most of the work automatically. I found that the initial calibration took about 10 minutes. You run the autofocus, adjust the lens shift, and you're good to go. The biggest hidden trade-off is that you need a very flat, white wall or a proper projection screen to avoid hotspots and uneven color. A textured paint job or a wall with slight imperfections will show up as uneven brightness, something you might not notice until you start a movie marathon. When it comes to daily usability, the built-in WebOS platform is a pleasant surprise. Instead of pulling out a streaming stick or connecting a laptop, you can browse Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime Video, and a handful of other apps directly from the projector's interface. The remote is fairly simple, but the real convenience comes from the wireless screen share feature. I was able to pull a YouTube video from my phone, a PowerPoint presentation from my laptop, and even a game stream from an Android tablet without ever plugging a cable in. That wireless flexibility is where the value really starts to add up. You're not just buying a projector, you're getting a small smart TV that lives on your wall. What about the picture quality in real-world viewing conditions? The 1500 ANSI lumen rating sounds impressive on paper, but remember that UST projectors have to work against ambient light more than rear projection models. In a dimly lit room, the image is vivid and the colors feel natural. Blacks are deep enough for most streaming content, though they don't quite match the inky crush of a high-end OLED TV. In a bright living room with daylight streaming through windows, you'll notice some washout, especially on darker scenes. If your primary use case is weekend movie nights in a room you can darken, the projector shines. If you expect to watch TV shows with the lights on, you may find the brightness insufficient. One of the strongest practical points is the longevity of the laser light source. Traditional lamp-based projectors often need a bulb replacement every 23 years, which can cost $150 to $200. With a laser source that lasts up to 20,000 hours, you're essentially paying once for the light source. That translates to lower total cost of ownership, especially if you're the type who watches a couple of hours every night. On the flip side, the upfront price of the LG CineBeam is higher than many entry-level UST competitors, so you're front-loading that savings. If your budget is tight and you're okay with a lamp that will need replacing, you might find a cheaper lamp-based model more appealing. Who should consider buying this projector? If you have a modestly sized space, say a 10 by 12 foot room, and you want a large cinematic screen without the hassle of ceiling mounts or a dedicated projector room, the HF85LA is a solid match. It works best for families who enjoy movie nights, gamers who want a big screen experience on a couch, and remote workers who need a quick way to share presentations without hauling a laptop and cables. It also fits well for people who already own a sound system, because the projector's built-in speakers are modest. Pairing it with a soundbar or a small AV receiver makes the experience much richer. Conversely, you might want to skip this model if you're planning to use it as a primary TV replacement in a bright, multipurpose living area. The limited brightness and reliance on a very flat wall can make the picture look flat or washed.